Hello, and welcome to Did You Watch Survivor Last Night? This is a podcast about reality TV and friendship. My name is Jake Scheidel. Each week, I talk about a certain reality television show with my best friend since 1998, Thomas Powell. Hey, Thomas, how you doing?
I am just fine, Jake. I'm doing real well. So it's been 18 years of friendship then, huh?
18 years of friendship. I think we're 28 seconds into this recording. I think we've already got the episode title.
Our friendship is 18 and legal.
Hey, you want to put our friendship in a porn? First, figure out how to do that. Second, we're on board, right?
Yep. A friendship that can buy cigarettes. But not drink alcohol.
No, God, no. Do you want to once in 3 years, when our friendship turns 21, do you want to go get a beer somewhere?
I mean, that seems like the move, right?
I mean, because we've never done that up to this point. Because, as we all know, you have to be 21 to drink, and you have to be friends with someone for 21 years before you can go have a drink with them. That's the law.
The law is immutable. I am a strict constitutionalist. I am with the void that Antonin Scalia left. I'm merely attempting to fill it.
Are you gunning for that Supreme Court justice seat?
Look, I mean, I'm just saying, my name's out there. Yeah. I'm not actively campaigning for it, but it would be a tremendous honor, Mr. President.
Anyone can be a Supreme Court justice. There's literally no qualifications. It's just you just name someone.
Anyone can, so why not me?
And then they have to do it. They're required to do it.
It could be anyone else. You don't know who you're getting. Could be a lot worse. Pick me.
Pick me. No, don't pick me. I don't want to do that. I have to be on Survivor. So I can't be a Supreme Court justice. I'm sorry, Obama. Thomas is on board, though. So, Thomas, I've got a question for you. Did you watch Survivor last night?
No, I did.
So, because MTV decided to have their finale over 2 weeks, we have to push the 2 first episodes of this season of Survivor, which is called Kaoh, Rong, Brains, Brawn, Beauty 2, to this episode. Okay, that was a very confusing sentence I just said, but I think it was understood by everyone. The first 2 episodes are called I'm a Mental Giant and Kindergarten Camp, which are both good episode titles because they are quotes from people on the show. Looking at you, TJ Lavin, fucking name your show better.
It feels like we're coming back from kindergarten camp right now, Back to
right?
some fucking serious business.
Syria in the news, topical. So Thomas, you mentioned to me you missed the first episode. So
I did not catch it.
You did not catch the first episode. So let me just run through it real quick for you. They start on a big boat, and Jeff Probst tells them they have 2 minutes to salvage whatever they can on the boat. And there's supplies and whatnot. At one point, a chicken, they had chickens in cages or whatever. They picked up the cage, and one of the chickens flew off of the boat into the water, and this dude, Caleb, jumped in after the chicken.
Country
and put it on
boy.
the raft. He is a country boy. And then someone named Debbie, who is on the Brains tribe, said, "Puzzles lay down for me like lovers." What does that mean?
I don't know.
I don't like that person. So that was the introduction to this season. On the Brawn tribe, we have Jason, who is a bounty hunter and has 2 daughters. And one of those daughters has autism. So keep that in mind, I guess. Winners at it already, Sydney, who is a bodybuilder. Darnell, who is a student and a postal worker. Alicia, who is a real estate agent. Jennifer, who is a person. And then finally, Scott Pollard of the NBA.
Former NBA champion and Kansas Jayhawk, Scott Pollard.
Yeah. So you didn't watch the first episode, so you missed it. Scott Pollard has the greatest laugh I've ever heard from anyone.
Yeah, he's like a really affable dude. He was always he was an end of the bench guy for the 2008 Celtics team that won the championship. Like, he never really played, but he was notable for, like, him and Brian Scalabrine, who was just another, like, white end of the bench dude, were both just really, like, kind of funny guys who would give, like, funny press conferences and joke about how they were, like, dominating and shit like that. Like, how they personally were dominating and how they, like, teams were too scared of the threat of them even coming off the bench and, like, stuff like that. Like, it was fun. They were fun.
That's nice.
I didn't love that team, but I think they were a fun part of it.
Nice. So inspired by Scott Pollard's presence on this season, I went back and looked at all the pro athletes who have been on the show. Do you want me to run through them?
Oh, first and foremost, I know Gary Hogaboom was one of them. Former Dallas Cowboys quarterback, former Central Michigan quarterback.
Did I tell you, ran into my dad at a gas station once.
Hey, there we go. Fire up chips.
But
that's what they probably said to each other.
They did, even though they didn't know each other. My dad also said that was before he was on the show, but after he was a footballer. He's like a basketball coach in Grand Haven now or something.
Traitor to his sport.
I know. Well,
welcome to my side, though, Gary.
Michael Jordan over here, because he played baseball once.
Yeah.
Remember?
Who does he think he is? Dan Marley, another Central Michigan athlete?
I've met Dan Marley. I was about 5 years old, and we were at a CMU football game, and he was on the sideline. My parents, I guess they knew him in college, were like, hey, this is my son. And also, probably my siblings were there, too.
Your dad gave him, like, dap.
Nice to meet you.
Your dad gave him, like, dap and was like, what up, Thunder Dan? This is my son.
Yeah, in, like, 1996. Did you know Cliff Robinson was on Survivor?
Cliff Robinson was that, like, Uncle Cliffy?
Yeah.
When?
He was on season 28, which I think was the first Brains, Beauty, Brawn season.
That is dope as hell.
Yeah. Obviously, Brad Culpepper was on. There are others, too. Just kind of running through the big ones. Gary Hogaboom, of course, was on season 11, which, you know, for a show is pretty late in the run, but it was also now 21 seasons ago, so that was pretty early. And then the first professional athlete to play, as far as I know, also won his season was Ethan Zahn, who was a professional soccer player.
Oh, I don't give a fuck about that.
He seemed cool. Then we've got the Brains tribe. We've got Liz, who is a data analyst, which doesn't sound like a real job. That's just two words you put together to sound important.
I have a smart job. Push his glasses up nose.
There is Peter, who is an ER doctor and looks exactly like Barack Obama. And I will refer to him as Barack Obama from here on out.
He's like a ripped Barack Obama.
I think Barack Obama's
Barack Obama
ripped.
is fit. He is not, like, shredded like this dude is.
Yeah, probably true. I don't see a lot of shirtless pics of Obama, though.
I'm sorry. You don't see enough shirtless pics of Obama.
I don't see enough shirtless pics of Obama. That can change, though, very easily. There's Debbie, who is a chemist and also a nutcase.
Yeah, she fucking sucks, and I want her gone.
Yeah. There's Neil, who is an ice cream entrepreneur. There's Aubrey, who is a social media something. And then there's Joe, who is a retired Army general or something. He's old.
He's, like, super ripped, too. He's like fucking Jack LaLanne.
He's like the rippest? Yep, the rippest 72-year-old who's ever existed.
I'm sorry, I just said Jack LaLanne. You're wrong, but thanks for trying.
I believe Jack LaLanne is dead now, so...
You said ever existed. That includes all of time.
Okay, you're super good at words, and good
Maybe I should be on the Brains team.
No. If you were on this season, do you think you'd be on the Brains team?
I don't really have the accomplishments, but I feel like that's like that's what I would be on. You wouldn't classify me in either of the other two teams.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I would probably be on the Brains. I'm not a particularly smart person, but I think my intelligence outweighs my strength or my beauty.
I think they're willing to be kind of lenient with some of this. Like,
Yeah.
there's debate. I mean, like, I like. Well, I mean, what we can get to him, but the what's the Asian guy on the beauty team's name?
Ty. Yeah, let's get into the beauty tribe.
Ty's, I like Ty, but like beauty's kind of a stretch there.
Okay, let me explain, because they explained this in the first episode, or at least Ty did. Ty is a gardener, and he had the same reaction to you when he found out he was on the beauty tribe. He's like, why am I here? I'm bald, big ears, skinny little body. And then he was like, well, I guess we have beauty inside and out. So it's not a physical thing, he's a good person kind of thing,
Yeah, he is like 90% a good person. There was some not great stuff on this episode.
Yes. Then there's also Michelle, who is a bartender. Caleb, who is also an army vet and was on Big Brother, which I don't care for when they do that. It's like, you were on Big Brother. Why do you have to be on Survivor now?
Yeah, get back to your trash. Get back to your trash reality show and stay off this quality one.
I know we're like pulling for Bernanas to get on Survivor, but I don't like when people from a certain reality show end up on another reality show, unless it's like one of those cable, like, what's that show called? Marriage Boot Camp or whatever. I know like some people from like Survivor or one of those many shows.
Or if it's VH1 reality, where
it's just constantly recycled.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, keep them on every show. Oh, and also if it's fucking Johnny Bananas on Survivor, #Bananas on Survivor, let's do this.
Let's get it. There's also Nick, who is so hot. That's his character trait. He looks like, what's his name? Milo Ventimiglia.
Oh, yeah,
from Heroes.
Of Heroes and Gilmore Girls. And Rocky.
Was he on Gilmore Girls also?
He was, yes. And Rocky Balboa fame.
Oh, he was in Rocky Balboa?
He played Rocky's son.
Oh. Not in the newest one, Creed, which was really good.
Yeah, well, no, I think there's a picture of him in that. I think he's the picture that he points to, and he's like, "Oh, this is my son."
Oh, like the little kid is him? Is that actor?
I don't know. I mean,
Oh,
that's the character in reference.
Yeah. Probably not the actor. It would be weird if, like, 20 years earlier they were like, "Hey, come take this picture with Sylvester Stallone in movie franchise we're going to reboot."
Yep.
Then rounding out the beauty tribe are Anna and Julia, who are both presumably people. Let's see. On the Brains tribe, Neil says that he's a little concerned being on the Brains tribe because, the Brains tribe did not do super well in the first incarnation of this theme.
I think they made a point of waiting this a little bit because they've got, like people like Debbie, who's, like, not going to be of any use in challenges, but, like, the people on the Brains tribe are all clearly smart, but, like, they've got some, like, fit people on there, and...
Well, yeah, but you're gonna have to be fit to be on Survivor.
But, like, some notably fit people. Like, when I saw that the fucking military guy, I was like, why is he not on the Brawn team? That dude is jacked.
Because he's old.
The doctor is, like, super fit. Liz looks like she's in really... Yeah, President Barack Obama is very fit. And Liz looks like she could have easily been on the beauty team. Like, and she's in good shape, so...
Yeah. On the beauty tribe... Ty talks about how much he loves all living things, which makes sense. He's a pacifist gardener. He's a very nice person. Mm-hmm. He also says that he's from Vietnam, so this is his hood, which, okay, I get what you're saying, but also, this is Cambodia, not Vietnam, but whatever. Fine.
I mean, it's Southeast Asia.
Same region, but not exact, like, you didn't grow up down the street, Unless you're looking at a globe. Anyway, he mentions that he lived in Vietnam during the war, so winner's at it.
Early winners at it watch.
Yeah. Braun tribe, Jason says he has zero faith in Alicia, or as he calls her, Blondie. He refuses to learn her name, even though somebody tells him like 5 times.
Jason straight up sucks. I want him off of the show.
Yeah, he like spends a lot of the first episode going around making deals with everyone, and he says, "I want as many alliances as possible. These alliances are only true when I need them to be," which is playing pretty hard pretty early.
That's ambitious,
Jason.
too. There's a lot of ways that can come back to bite you.
Yep. Over on the Beauty Tribe, they have 3 chickens, but the chickens escape. They get 2 of them back. So Ty creates a leash-type thing, so the chickens don't have to be cooped up. And someone says, "Oh, they look so much happier." And then Nick laughs and says, "But they're going to be dead in a few days." And the girls on the Beauty Tribe want to align with Ty so that they have the numbers should they go to Tribal Council. Over on the Brain Tribe, they're building their shelter, and Debbie decides to cut the bamboo they're using with an axe, even though they have a perfectly good saw. What? Why? Well, I don't understand why you would do that. Somebody's like, "Hey, want to use this saw?" And she's like, "No, I'll use the axe."
Not hardcore
and then
enough
has a
for
really
me.
hard time. Like, it's like she's trying to prove herself. I don't like Debbie. One of the girls on that tribe says, "Debbie talks so much, she might annoy everyone to death." Yeah.
She's like the embodiment of like try hard. Like she is really like. There is a sequence in the second episode where I was like, "Are you a fucking real person? Like, what is happening right now?"
I know. Yeah, you would think after 16 years of this show, people would kind of figure out how they need to act to win. And she's just the complete opposite side of the spectrum.
She just clearly does not have the social skills required for this.
Yeah. Over on the Beauty Tribe, Ty decides that it's a good idea to go looking for the idol. So he thinks it's buried underneath this small tree, like a sapling. So he just rips it out of the ground. And his logic is, "I should know because I'm the tree guy."
What?
That doesn't make a lot of sense. That doesn't really help you find the idol unless it is under a tree. The rest of the tribe figures out what he's doing, and they go looking for him. And when he's out alone in the woods, he says, "I'm sorry, tree. I'm just looking for something that I want." He's so sweet.
Ty talking to himself is adorable.
He's so great. I love him. He gets caught by the rest of the tribe, and he cops to it, but he tells them that he didn't find anything, and they're not sure if he can, or if they can believe him. Ooh, you missed out on a big part of a big scene. It was really gross. Anyway, I'll skip through it really quickly because I feel like this is getting boring. On the Brawn Tribe, at one point, a bug crawls into Jennifer's ear.
I saw this on the previously on Survivor thing.
It was so gross. They drew it out so long. They did a really good job of making it really gross. She spent a good part of the episode with this bug stuck in her ear. I won't go super into it, but it was gross. Eventually, it's a little worm crawls out of her ear. Scott picks it up and squishes it. She says she's back at 100%, and she's so angry, so they're going to kill this challenge. Spoiler alert, they do not kill this challenge.
Whoops.
So for the immunity challenge, they have to take a boat, untie some paddles underwater, paddle to the beach where they have to convert the boat to a cart. Then they have to either complete a puzzle or do a dexterity challenge. The first tribe wins immunity and also gets a really nice fire making kit. Second tribe gets immunity and flint. So Darnell, for the Brawn tribe, volunteers to dive in for the paddles. So they give him like these goggles. They give everybody who's diving some goggles. The challenge starts. Darnell dives in and immediately his goggles fall off. So the Brawn tribe takes a long time to complete the challenge. Eventually they lose. So they go back to the camp. Alicia realizes she's probably going home and tries to convince them to vote out Darnell. As they're sitting around camp, Darnell pitches himself to Jason, and Jason's like, "Hey, don't worry about it. It's going to be Alicia. She doesn't really fit with this tribe. Don't worry about it." Then Jason later goes to Alicia and is like, "Hey, does Darnell have an idol?" And she says, "No." And then he asks if she has an idol, and she says, "Never said I did, never said I didn't." What? Why would you say that? Just say no, and then they won't come after you. Like, you created more suspicion on your own. Anyway, so Thomas, it has been 69 days since we've done this segment.
Nice.
First of all, nice. Secondly, you ready to talk about some wildlife shots?
Let's do this shit. I've missed this.
I know. I'm really upset we never figured something out for the challenge. But there just wasn't any.
There's nothing. There's no substance there.
Do you want a static shot of the Mediterranean Sea? Here's one. Here's another one. That's all they did between segments, between commercials, whatever. So, quick run through. This is a 90-minute episode, and there were only 5 wildlife shots, which seems really low.
That's one every 18 minutes. That's pretty low.
Wow, that was some quick math. Although that makes sense, because that's about when you would put in a commercial, right? About every 18 minutes or so.
Also, quick math. Put me on the Brains team. Brains team, Brainstream.
I at an old job I had, my friend and I, like work friend, we would always joke, teamwork, it's so dumb. Teamwork makes my dreams lucid. It's pretty good, right?
I thought that was gonna rhyme, and then it just didn't.
That's the point. Okay. So anyway, in the first episode of season 32 of Survivor, there's a shot of a hawk, a monkey, some swans, a beetle, and 2 snakes. Okay. Then we get to Tribal Council. Probst asks Jason if he's happy with his tribe mates, and Jason says, "Some people meet my high expectations." And Probst says, "Some people?" And Jason goes, "Yeah, some people. I have no problem naming who doesn't. Darnell and Blondie." And then Darnell takes a lot of heat from Alicia. Jason whispers to Jennifer, "Are we doing the right one?"
Did Darnell do anything to provoke this kind of ire?
Well, he lost the mask in the challenge. But other than that, he didn't really do anything wrong. He was a fine tribe mate. Whereas Alicia was, super weak and not helpful in any way at all. So it would have made sense for them to vote out Alicia. Whatever. Jen says she doesn't want to vote Darnell. They go to vote. And Alicia doesn't take the cap off the marker.
Excuse me?
She goes in and tries to write a name down on the little sheet of paper.
Oh my god!
And
what?
Yeah, it was I've never seen that happen before. So Probst goes to get the votes. First vote, Alicia, then Darnell. Alicia, Darnell, Alicia, Darnell. It's a tie. First vote of the season. It's a tie. So on the second vote, Darnell gets all 4 votes. I don't know why they did that. Jennifer caused the tie. She said she didn't want to vote Darnell, and if she hadn't voted Darnell, Alicia would have been gone. But she voted with Darnell anyway. Or she voted for him, not with him.
I don't know why you bring up Jennifer's lack of, sort of strategic wit, because, I don't think that's going to come up at all in the episode that we watch.
This will probably be nothing.
Just an isolated incident. It's a brain fart. Could happen to anyone.
Yeah. Early in the game, who knows what could happen from here on out. Yeah. So we'll after the first episode, you obviously didn't watch it, so you don't have any real idea of who is looking good right now. But based on my description, who do you think is going to win at this point?
You can't pick off of one episode.
Okay. Well, I watched the episode, and I'm picking Neil. So that brings us to episode number 2.
Wait,
Kindergarten.
Sorry, which one is Neil again?
Neil is on the Brain Tribe.
Is he Ripped Grandpa?
He's not Ripped Grandpa. That is Joe. Neil has curly, kind of like salt and pepper, gray hair.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Yeah, he seems cool. So, kindergarten camp. We start at the Braun Tribe. Alicia still suspects that her tribe wants to vote her out. Also, did you notice this? Alicia doesn't know the difference between the words ember and embryo.
I thought she said I thought she said embry. I didn't think that she said embryo.
I'm pretty sure she said embryo. She was like, why do they call it an embryo? And everybody looked like, they call it an ember because that's what it is.
Clearly she never played Pokemon.
Yeah. Jason and Scott are hanging out in the shelter, and Jason says, she's next, and Scott is like, yeah. Over on the Beauty Tribe, Ty is unsure on his standing in the tribe and wants to go looking for the idol, but is afraid of being caught again. But he goes anyway, because why not, right? And he actually finds something, or a clue, I guess. He has to find a key to open up a box to get the idol. To get the key, he has to climb a palm tree. So, why not? He actually tries to. And Ty, as he's climbing up this palm tree, says, Jeff's really testing me.
Yep, I remember that, and I laughed very hard when it happened, too.
I love it. On the Brain Tribe, Liz says that this victory has solidified us. Debbie says that she has 20 years experience analyzing water, so she knows more about water.
This seems like a recipe for her to get some sort of shady, like, disease that will get her off.
Yeah.
Like, that she's not willing, like, because it's like, why are you gonna risk catching something? Just boil the water.
Yeah, that's what the other person she was, like, feuding with suggested, was like, hey, we should boil this water. And she's like, no, I know water. I've analyzed water for 20 years.
She's like, Liz thinks she knows everything, but, like, I know everything, so I'm just gonna drink this shitty water.
Well, you have to understand, Debbie has an immune system like a horse. I don't understand this person at all.
I do like that President Barack Obama was like, Debbie is useless, and I'm going to keep her around as long as possible because she's not a threat. She's not a threat in the physical or social game.
She says, or Obama says, when he met Debbie...
We need to use his name. This is bad.
No, why?
It's bad. We can't call him Obama.
Well, in my notes, I've only written Obama, so... Okay, we'll call him... Fine. We'll call him Peter Obama.
No!
Anyway, he says his first question upon meeting her was, does she have 30 cats or 40 cats? And the answer is 40 cats at her house right now. Back on the Beauty Tribe, Ty says he is relying on his charm until he can get the idol. Caleb says that he likes Ty because he's one of a kind. And I guess Caleb and Ty become friends, which is cool, I guess.
Yeah, Caleb is like, there is not a single doesn't he say, like, there's not a single homophobe in this body or something like that? He says it really awkwardly, but he's like, yeah, I'm cool, like, whatever.
I wasn't sure
like, I'm a
if he
country
was
guy,
talking about himself or talking about Ty.
He was talking about himself.
Okay.
He was just saying basically, like, he's like, Ty, I really like Ty, like, we're cool, like, I'm not, like, he's like, I'm a country boy, so you would think that maybe I would have a problem with him, but I don't. Like, I really like him.
Cool.
Which is neat, and I will say, I have to give Caleb a lot of credit, because he put up with some shit. That took a turn. Because Ty is, like, really badly hitting on him, to the point that he was, like, fucking trying to kiss him and shit, and it's like...
Okay, well, let's talk about this. Caleb was eating a fish, and part of the fish was, like, hanging out of his mouth, so he offered it to Ty, and Ty tried to grab it with his fingers, but he couldn't get a hold of it, so then he went... As like a charming little thing, he went for it with his teeth, and they kind of kissed a little bit.
But Ty even says in the talking head that he was going for the kiss, and like, could tell that it kind of made Caleb uncomfortable. Like, I just like, it's not in like a gay thing, but just like, it's like a boundaries thing. Like,
yeah.
Think of it this way: if it was a male like a straight male cast member doing it to a female competitor on the beauty team, it would be fucking skeevy. It would be.
I don't know about that, because, like, if this hypothetical male-female interaction, if they had the same relationship that Ty and Caleb seem to have, I don't know that would have been as big a deal. Like, yeah, maybe they would have been like, that's kind of weird, but I don't think it would have been like, what are you doing? because they seem fairly close, and like they kind of laughed it off. I didn't get a huge uncomfortable feeling from Caleb when that happened.
Yeah.
And maybe
part of it, I think, might just be him being like, well, I don't want to seem like I'm homophobic, but I don't know. Maybe he is cool with it.
Yeah. Ty was like, I hope you don't get in trouble with your girlfriend. And he's like, it's fine. Just ask next time. And I was just like, okay. And everybody laughs. It's good. It's a good time. They're fun. Yeah. So the Brain Tribe won in their fire-making kit. They won a bottle of kerosene, but this being Survivor, they was in a little bottle with a rubber seal. So, kerosene eats away at rubber, and the bottle tipped over, so the kerosene ate away at the rubber seal, so they lost most of their kerosene. Grandpa Joe says that he likes Debbie, doesn't care for Liz. Wrong move, Joe, but okay.
Yeah, that's basically just like, I don't like this young person.
Yeah. Yep, you got the numbers against you, Joseph. We're on the Braun tribe. Jason is very sunburnt, but he's cool with it. He's been through worse. And Alicia decides to try to build a fire to prove herself. It takes her 5 hours to get a fire going. But she finally gets it, and they cook a chicken. That's great. Then we get to the immunity and reward challenge. It's all in one. They have to run through some mud, pick up a big log with a ball spooled around it, carry it through some obstacles, remove the ball, and shoot it at a board. The first 2 teams to hit 2 boards wins immunity. The race starts out pretty even. Brain falls in last place, but they eventually catch it up. All 3 tribes hit their first board, and then Beauty hits their second board, Brain hits their second board, and Jason of the Braun tribe. Brain and Braun are 2 similarly worded or spelled.
I'm sorry that this is hard for you. You're not verbally dexterous enough to handle it.
Reading is difficult for me.
Red, yellow, leather. I fucked that up immediately. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather.
Yellow leather.
Trippingly on the tongue.
Let's start recording now. Jason says, you don't want to go down as the worst team in history, and let me tell you, this ship is sinking. Yeah. So back at camp, Scott says everyone on their tribe is strong except Alicia. Jason calls her ditzy and says she's an ostrich. She's a bird, but she can't fly, so she's useless. It's a pretty good burn, honestly. Alicia realizes that she's probably the next out, so she goes looking for the idol, and then complains that none of them asked her to be in an alliance with them, but also she didn't ask any of them to be in an alliance with her. Mm-hmm. It's a 2-way street, Alicia.
Yeah, you gotta be proactive.
Yeah.
I like that Alicia is so bad and just Jenna, she really needs to be eliminated, but I legitimately kind of got turned on her side by the end of this because Jason would not shut the fuck up about her. It was all him and Scott were all he was talking about to Scott was just oh, I think a little bit of your skin or whatever got in this this pot or whatever. Oh, we'll just give it to Blondie. Every fucking thing is oh well, she fucking sucks. Oh, that bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Alicia, but Jason is obnoxious.
Yeah.
So Jen also is getting annoyed with Jason, so she goes to Alicia and talks to her about turning on Jason and getting him out. Scott, though, 100% sure Jen is not talking to Alicia. And then Jen second-guesses herself in voting for Jason because it would blindside Scott.
This is where you start to see the seams where it's you need to... you can't go for an ambitious move and then immediately be oh, I don't know, though. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
She's oh, big moves, big moves.
It's you're on the same. You're on the same team. Scott will have to fucking deal with it. If your relationship with Scott is strong, you'll get over it.
Yeah, but relationships are only strong or as strong as as long as you're voting together. As soon as you vote against someone, it's relationship over. You can't really recover from that. Wildlife shots. We got 2 monkeys, an eagle, some ants, another eagle, birds, another monkey. That's 2 different monkeys. An iguana, a crab-looking thing, a 5th monkey, a snake, and a scorpion.
A lot of wildlife shots in this one. This is a treasure trove.
This is what happened last season when they suddenly they used up all their wildlife shots and had to give us nature shots. Like, we don't have a nature shot segment. Just have enough wildlife shots that you can last throughout the season.
Yeah, they need to ration those out a little better.
Yeah. Maybe they have a lot. Maybe we're just in for a lot of wildlife shots.
What if they just had? What if for every wildlife shot they reached a point where they only had one left, so they just repeatedly used that one over and over again? Like, I swear I've seen this iguana like 10 times.
It's always licking its lips at the exact same moment. This is so weird.
They just started like rotating the frame where it's like, oh no, look at that upside down iguana. You've never seen this one before.
It's like Tim and Eric just direct an episode of this.
Oh, Tim and Eric editing an episode of Survivor would be incredible.
I would love it.
Something I never knew I wanted until just now, and now I want it very badly.
It turns out they're like really big fans of Survivor. They just do a really good job and don't use their signature. No,
you would get a lot of shots of people like blinking and like like making weird faces and like cutting off after they said things. It'd be great.
I have to imagine they're filming 24/7, and they they cut it so that it seems like there's constantly action going on, but there have to be like 18 hours every day that it's just like staring into the fire, not talking to each other, kind of like humming and hawing, like a lot of awing.
It would have been edited to like the presentation would be like a weird like early 90s like public access station too. Like it would just like it would look so bad. It'd be great.
You would see the timestamp flashing in the corner of, like throughout the entire episode.
Be like, can we get a boom in the frame? Like, yeah.
Okay, this needs to happen now.
I want it very badly.
Here's my pitch, Tim and Eric. After this season of Survivor ends, we won't cover the challenge. Instead, you create your own version of Survivor, edit it in your style, put it on YouTube. We'll cover that, and like put it up week to week. We're not doing that Netflix shit where they release the whole season in one chunk. I don't like that. I want it week by week. That's how you're supposed to watch television. You know?
Yeah.
Fuck Netflix. It can go fucking.
Wow, you feel very strongly about this.
Like, there's a lot to deal with in Fuller House, and I need to watch it week by week.
So that's where this is coming from.
Did you watch it at all?
No, fuck that. Full House is like an unwatchable show if you go back and look at it, and this is trying to be a recreation of Full House. So like if you like watching like fucking garbage, unfunny television because it's like nostalgic, that's fine. I think it's cool that Carly Rae Jepsen does the theme, but that's literally the only thing of interest to me.
Yeah, I saw like 2 10-second clips on Gawker that were like, this is how they burned Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen for not being on the show. And at one point they were like, what was the girl's name? Michelle? Yeah. Michelle sends her love from New York or whatever. And then they all just kind of stare into the camera for a really long time. It's, what?
That's so stupid, too, because, like, if I were Mary-Kate and Ashley, I'd be like, why the fuck would I go back on that? Like, everyone else that's on that, like, kind of needs to be on it. Like, or wants to. Like, John Stamos is the one that organized the whole thing, but, like, it's not like anybody else's career's on fire, and Mary-Kate and Ashley have fuck you money, so why would they go on? Yeah, there was another joke. Kimmy Gibbler came in to the house, because she lives in the house now, too. You know, that secondary character. And she's like, her daughter comes in and is like, oh, I just got these new clothes from the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen line. And Kimmy Gibbler looks at the receipt and is like, oh, with this kind of money, no wonder they don't have to act anymore.
and it gets a big laugh. Also, this show has a studio audience, apparently, which I don't think Netflix has ever done. I thought Netflix, like, put out really good stuff, and I'm realizing as they put more of this kind of stuff out, they're just in it for the money. It's just another capitalist.
Come on, they have a
Netflix.
Netflix has a pretty high success rate. Like
they definitely do.
With stuff like you'll get your Marco Polos and your Fuller Houses is like basically the AV Club made a good point about Fuller House, and it was basically like Fuller House exists under the same principle that Wet Hot American Summer and like the fourth season of Arrested Development and like stuff like that exists, where it's like it's Netflix allowing a niche or like bringing something back for a niche audience.
Yeah.
I can't hate that Fuller House exists because it exists under the same principle that allows a couple other things that I really like, and I'm glad came back to exist.
Yeah, I suppose that's a good point. But also, Full House is terrible.
It's
just
bad.
a bad show.
No, it's bad, but like, I just think it's unfair to be like, oh, well, they brought that back because it's good, even though it's for a smaller audience. And this is like, there are still people that want to watch Full House. There's not that many because our tastes have evolved, and like anyone that goes back and watches those old sitcoms is like, oh my god, these were fucking terrible. Except for like Fresh Prince, but.
Yeah, I suppose I meant more their original programming is generally held to a higher regard. So, yeah, I honestly, I have no issue with them bringing it back. I don't like that it kind of broke Netflix, but
yeah, that's
other than
stupid.
that, whatever.
I thought it was really funny, though, that, like, there was, I think it was on, like, one of the few times I listened to the radio, they were talking about how Netflix was, like, raising their prices, and the DJ on the station was like, like, they reel you in, and then, like, they have you, and so now they can raise the prices, and was, like, complaining about it, and I was like, they raised it by, like, $1 a month, and you know why they did that? It's because they're making, like, 300 goddamn shows. Like,
yeah.
The reason that it costs more is because they're giving you a ton of original content. Like, it's worth the extra $1 for me to be able to watch shows I like.
Also, you don't have enough friends that you can just steal someone's Netflix password.
I mean, really,
They're cool with that now.
If you're that concerned about it, yeah, they made profiles on it specifically for that.
Yeah. But Netflix, like, I apparently had a really hard time running because so many people were watching Fuller House. I was watching. Have you heard of that movie Timer?
No.
It's fine. Solid B-. But I was watching it last night, and like halfway through it just stopped, and I was like, oh, is the internet going out? What's going on? And then I realized, oh no, everyone is watching Fuller House right now for some reason.
I think it's out of curiosity for some people. Fuller, yeah.
And honestly, that is the only reason I was watching.
Lazy.
Out of curiosity. No, there's two reasons I would watch Fuller House. Curiosity, which I've heard killed the cat, so probably not a great idea. Second reason, Carly Rae Jepsen does the theme.
Hell yeah.
Which I want to hear, but I figure I can just listen to that on YouTube.
I mean, it's Carly Rae Jepsen just doing the Full House theme. Like, it sounds like what you would think it would sound like. So I haven't seen Fuller House, and I haven't seen Timer, but you know what I did watch? Episode 2 of Survivor.
Okay, yeah.
Let's get back in on that, huh?
They're at, the Braun tribe is at Tribal Council, and Alicia says, hopefully it's not going to be me. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, well, fuck you, Alicia, it's going to be you, because you're terrible. And then Jen says, the vote is up in the air, and that ideas came up. And Jason says, the point of alliances is we do things together and don't waver. And Jennifer's explanation is, that's exactly what we've done up to this point. They've had one vote. And she's wavering. She's doing the literal definition of wavering.
This was a train wreck. This was like a person unraveling on television where, like, all you had to do was not say anything, and you were good.
That's the downfall of so many Survivor players, is they just talk to... It either happens really early in the game like this, or really late in the game when somebody's on the bottom and is like... They think they have something going, and they try really hard to push that narrative.
Yeah, where they're like, oh, I'm just going to be coy and, like, hint at, like, oh, maybe something's getting shaken up. And like, the people in her alliance were like, what? Like, Scott and Jason were like, what?
What? I'm voting your name now. So, as if that wasn't bad. Like, she could have salvaged that if she had just shut up there. But she went in harder. She's like that one rapper who's always going in. Who is that?
Rich Homie Quan. He promises that he will never stop going in.
Hasn't released an album in like a year, but whatever. Jen says, Alicia came up to me and said, let's do an all-girls alliance. And Alicia quickly retorts, that was her who said that. And Jason asks Jen, who did you say to throw on the chopping block? And Alicia goes, Jason. So, yep. Jen says, if I broke your trust, that's on me, but I want a tribe that can win. What is your game plan here?
I don't get it at all. I like, by the way, that, what's the bodybuilder, like the female bodybuilder's name?
Sydney.
Sydney. I like that Sydney the whole time is just like, what the fuck is going on with these people? Like, that's been her the entire time. It's just like, I'm not, like... That's a smart move on her part. It's like, I'm not involved in this at all. Nobody's gonna fucking vote me off. Like, everyone's too busy focusing on this.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
I like her.
I do too. She's cool. She's got a little Tasha going this season, I think.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's just crazy because Jen, like, no one even mentioned voting for her. She was not going to get a single vote. And because she fucking self-destructs in Tribal, it's down to her and Alicia. Like, it becomes a thing where it's like, okay, well, we can still vote Alicia off, or we can vote Jen off because she self-destructed so badly.
Terrible.
Where it's like at a point where I was like, she can salvage this. It's still not smart because she could have just made a point in being like, all right, yeah, I tried to do this. It's still smarter to vote her off. Like, if we want to win challenges, you should keep me.
And she kind of more calm.
Yeah, and she kind of said that, but then she like pivoted a million times and tried to make like 5 different arguments.
They did exactly what she said. They made their tribe stronger by voting her out.
Yeah,
like, no, we need a stronger tribe, and they're like, "You're right, we do." Bye.
She was a clear liability. Like, she showed that she was a clear liability. So
like that. We're only like 2/3 of the way through her meltdown. Which is insane.
The part where she fucking stands up on like
God,
the...
yes.
Oh.
She says, I've given them no reason not to trust me. Wrong. Incorrect.
So many reasons. Many reasons not to trust.
And then Scott says, I haven't listened to a word Alicia's said to me. I've just been listening to you. And then Jen, who's sitting in the first row, gets up from her seat, stands on Scott and Jason's stools behind her, and says, please stick with our original alliance. And it's like, well, if there was any chance she was sticking around, it's gone now.
Gone. You can't go Tom Cruise on Oprah for this shit.
Oh,
this is not gonna... It was
ridiculous.
this is like a literal crazy person, what I'm seeing. Like, what is happening?
She got 3 of the 5 votes. Alicia, so happy to escape through another tribal council somehow. She is so lucky. She's got to be like one of the luckiest players in history.
If they have another elimination, she's gone though, like no question.
Yeah, you think that until like people get annoyed with Jason. Like as soon as Scott gets annoyed with Jason is gone.
That's true. Jason really could go pretty quickly.
Because obviously Sydney is willing to flip if necessary. Alicia obviously doesn't care for Jason. So Scott, he's the only thing protecting him at this point.
I think Scott and Sydney are definitely the two that are coming out of that, and I think they're the only two in that group that really have a shot at winning.
Yeah. So let's do predictions. Who, after watching this episode, who do you think will win at this point?
It's still pretty tough to forecast. I think Ty is definitely a player. Mm-hmm. I think Sydney is a player.
Yep.
I think Scott could be, but I don't think he will be. I think he's too physically imposing that there's going to be a week that he gets voted off.
I think Scott will make it to the merge and then be voted out as soon as he doesn't win immunity.
Yeah, pretty much. I could see that happening. He could do a Jeremy thing though, where he's not as good in challenges as you would expect him to be.
That's
and
true.
People are like, oh, he's not as big a threat as we thought.
Keep him around. Also, if he has a solid alliance, we also don't know what kind of tribe switches are going to happen and what's going to happen with hidden
Oh,
immunity
I mean,
idols. So
it's impossible.
There's a lot that can happen still. But
I mean, like, week 2 last season, would either of us have picked Jeremy to win? Probably not.
yeah, I would put him in like top 4 probably.
Yeah, but like,
I'm
there
trying
was
to
a
remember
point,
everybody
like
who was in it at that
a couple
point.
episodes into it, like he was kind of anonymous up until the game really after the merge. I think, like he.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I'm still sticking with Neil. I think he has a good combination of being of laying low, but also having the capability of making moves when necessary. Granted, they haven't had to go to tribal council yet, so we haven't really seen them under pressure. But I think he's got a good head on his shoulders and knows how to play the game.
I think
and he's very charming.
I think Debbie's a real strong contender on this one.
She's going to win. Everyone's going to be like, we all kept her in because we thought she was not a threat.
By
What a
the
great
way,
strategy.
The thing I was talking about earlier is there's a point where she is like bragging about her immune system, and then not like 2 seconds later she goes and starts fucking juggling. Like she's like, check it out, I can juggle. I do not care how strategic a move it is. If someone tries to impress me by juggling, I will vote them off immediately. Like, bye, sorry.
We've had an alliance since day 1, and we're down to the final 4. You're gone. Goodbye. Also, why would you wait 38 days to reveal that you can juggle in this game? Why would you reveal you can juggle in this game at all? Anyway,
it's a terrible move. Also, I think Liz has a shot to win.
I would agree with you, but I don't totally remember who Liz is.
Liz is the like data analysis person or whatever.
Oh yeah. She's gonna have to sludge through a lot, but I think she has the potential to win, or at least make it to the end. Who do you think is out next?
I think if the Brains tribe goes up for elimination next, it's going to be Ripped Grandpa. I think. I don't think they're going to eliminate Debbie first. I think Ripped Grandpa appears to be enough of a threat, and I think that he's like. I just don't think he's going to play well with others. I think him and Debbie are going to get along, but I think that's going to be it. And for Beauty, I just don't really have a good enough handle on that.
Yeah, they haven't really been focusing on them a lot.
And Braun, I think probably Alicia, but I could see Jason getting on the chopping block.
Yep. I think the only thing I would say differently is I think Debbie would be next. Like, yeah, I know Neil said he wants to keep her around, and Joe likes her, and she's obviously not going to vote. Okay, maybe not Debbie. I've just done the math. Maybe it won't be Debbie.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I think she's got enough people, and like Dr. President also. Let's call him Dr. President. Let's call him Dr. President.
Dr. President. That's good.
Dr. President made a point of saying, like, I'm going to keep her around as long as possible. But, I mean, anything could happen.
Yeah. We will see what happens next week on Survivor. That's my own little plug for the CBS television show Survivor.
Well, before saying next week on Survivor just made me think of Jeff Probst. He didn't do much this episode, did he?
No, he's fairly absent, but again, there's still so many people. I mean, we talked about this last season too. He doesn't do a lot early in the season. He just lets the people figure out what they want to do with the season, and then once it comes down to like post-merge, he'll have more appearances.
Yeah.
Also, did I tell you there's apparently 3 medevacs this season?
Oh my god.
But from what I've heard, 2 of them happen after the person is voted out. So
okay,
that probably won't show up. But yeah, apparently at least one person is medically evacuated.
Next time on Survivor, desensitize yourself to the bloodshed.
Let's go into our final segment, which is called Other Notes. It's very important that you use the hashtag Bananas on Survivor. We want to see that
Grassroots movement.
on
We
Survivor.
can do this. Yes, we can. Bananas on Survivor.
MTV just posted this whole thing that was like, oh, it's been 10 years since Johnny was on The Real World. So 10 years of Johnny Bananas on MTV. And I responded to them as like, he should do Survivor. And I also replied to him, his own Twitter. I was like, you should be on Survivor. No response from either of them. But I will say, speaking of people who have been on the challenge, guess who liked my promotional tweet about this podcast and subsequently followed me on the Twitter.
Who?
Our boy Mitch Reed.
What? Yeah!
Yeah. What
Fuck
up, Mitch?
yeah! Mitch, if you have listened to this, welcome aboard, dude. You are our guy.
You are our most famous listener after Jeff Probst, TJ Lavin, and Mike Rowe.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a real murderer's row. Pun not intended. It was completely accidental. But, no. Mitch, I want you to be on every season of the challenge. I know you're not going to be on this next one, but, come on. Let's do this.
I went through his faves on Twitter to see what else he's favorited. A lot of people saying, you should be on the challenge more. So hopefully he'll be on season 29. I think 28 is the next one. Speaking of Twitter, follow us on Twitter so you can tweet with us. Yep. Great promotion. DUIWSLN. That's our Twitter. My personal Twitter is Jake Scheidel. Thomas, do you want to say your Twitter?
Yeah, my Twitter is Nunya.
Nice.
None your damn business.
Nice. We're also on Facebook. Did you watch Survivor last night? And also there's an email, which we did not give out last week because we became preoccupied talking about Mike Rowe.
We were infatuated. We were caught up with trying to court Mike Rowe, and we forgot some key details. It'll happen.
Key details such as our email address. It's didyouwatchlastnight@gmail.com. Email us, and if you do email us, which you should, remember to sign it your pal Jeff Probst. That's very important.
We will not read emails on air, and we will not respond to them in any way if you do not sign it your friend Jeff Probst or your pal Jeff Probst.
Your pal. Either way. Speaking of Mike Rowe, did you know he has a new podcast? It's called...
Jake, I'm not interested in promoting anyone else's podcast on this one.
Okay, well, I am. It's Mike Rowe's podcast. It's called The Way I Heard It. It's about short stories, no more than 5 or 6 minutes an episode. It's a weekly show, so that's nice. So far, they've only released the preview. So get in on the ground floor. There we go.
Subscribe to that, then unsubscribe and delete any of them from your feed because we are the only podcast you are allowed to listen to.
Definitely subscribe to The Way I Heard It by Mike Rowe. Tell him Jeff Probst sent you. We are Jeff Probst.
And remember, I know we already pushed it, but Bananas on Survivor. I'm ready to feel the burn Annas on Survivor.
So many potential episode titles in this episode.
It's a real treasure trove of them.
We're a couple minutes over what we usually do. So as always, Thomas,
have a great summer.
Deuces.
My life is brilliant. My love is pure. I saw an angel. Of that I'm sure. She smiled at me on the subway. She was with another man. But I won't lose no sleep on that, 'cause I've got a plan. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true. I saw your face in a crowded place, and I don't know what to do, 'cause I'll never be with you. Yes, she caught my eye as we walked on by. She could see from my face that I was flying high, and I don't think that I'll see her again, but we shared a moment that will last till the end. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true. I saw your face in a crowded place, and I don't know what to do, 'cause I'll never be with you. will never